You going down there?
Yes. My life will be short, but adventurous. Never mind, I have a peacekeeper. I'm gonna kill everybody.
Or nobody, you know.
Well,
One of the
probably
two.
that. Also,
Nothing
I
in
have a purple
between.
armor and a wingman. Guess who's going into bunker? And dying.
Alright, so I went to top. There was nothing there.
Let's go this way.
And,
Great, now come to me.
yeah.
There's,
never
there's
mind,
one more
actually.
peacekeeper here. Got one down.
Double nose gun. On my way. Don't kill them all. Wait for me.
I am gonna kill them all. It's gonna be great.
No.
Bangalore.
Halt.
Broken armor. Good morning, Apex University. My name is Dan and I'll be your coach for today. So today I'm bringing you a close quarters combat guide where I'll be going through the techniques I use to win my fights in close quarters combat, either in the early game when you find yourself hot dropping on locations such as Bunker or Skull Town, as well as later into the game when I find myself fighting teams hiding in buildings where I want to push a team that is holding down a named location. So we're going to start with the most basic and bare bones of close quarters combat, which is also the most important to master in order to do well, which is crosshair placement. And crosshair placement is where you aim when you're not looking at an enemy or looting. So we've got a game here where the jump master was AFK and I ended up landing at bunker alone without my team. Whilst looting outside, I hear a team inside, so I know I'm going to have to stay alive in 1v3 here, and I want you to look at where I'm aiming throughout this clip, like right now. I keep my crosshair placed on the doorways where I expect my enemies to be, and my aim hugs the inside of the wall, where they're basically just walking into my crosshair. And even as I'm in a fight here, you can see my crosshair keeps sticking to this corner where I know they're hiding behind, so that either when I move around the corner or when they do, they're basically just running into my crosshairs. I don't have to aim, I can be instant with my shots and I know I'm going to hit them. Now I go for a quick armor swap here. Armor swapping is the fastest and most effective way to heal in close quarters combat, so whenever you can, try to remember where armors are. And just see my aim hugging to the wall here and hugging to the door, so that I know that as soon as I see them, all I have to do is press left click. I don't even have to aim and there's no way I'll miss. And I can just use the corner for cover as quickly as I've taken my shot, which is why shotguns are so effective for close quarters combat to mitigate any damage. Even while I'm healing here, you'll see the direction I'm facing is where I expect enemies to be, and as I am using my last syringe, I climb up to get a bit more visibility, and I keep aiming at where I expect them to be. I keep aiming at the doorway where I expect them to be. I clear one room at a time. I know my back is covered, so you see me pre-aiming the door since I'm not sure. I saw two of them go up the staircase, but I'm not sure if somebody's still in here. I clear the room and then I aim at the only place where they could possibly be, which is on top of the stairs. As soon as I see one, I can't miss. I don't have to aim. And here, because they're already close to my crosshair, it's really easy to hit my shots. It's really quick and I don't even have time to respond. Alright. Let's move on to cover usage. We already talked about the corner for a little bit, but I want to show you all the ways you can use cover, and we're going to start off with a Pathfinder that uses a zip line to the top here. I don't want to fight him from down here with my loadout, so I decide to push him on top with my wingman and my RE45, and I use the corner of the building for cover here because I can see where he's speaking from. Turns out he has a peacekeeper and I don't want to fight that, so I drop down with my teammate to help him out, and as he drops down we overwhelm him. However, another team shows up behind us as we're healing and looting up here, and I have to use cover to try and isolate myself, or try and isolate one of the opponents and break line of sight with his teammates so that I can take them on one at a time. So let's look at it here. They jump in aggressively, I get a little bit of damage in and instantly use the box and the smoke to reload. I have rocks to my left here and I use those rocks to try and expose myself only to one enemy at a time and mitigate any damage they can do. I noticed I have a devotion and a peacekeeper while my teammate goes down, so I reset the high ground for a little more cover, where I use the doorway to heal because doorways are your best friend in close range engagement. I decide to jump out via the window and not go out via the door because they're throwing grenades, so I'm afraid of it being blown up. And he has a devotion here, so I need cover and the box is my best bet. So I take some cover, wait for him to stop shooting, and then I'll take him out when he's not focusing me anymore. Here we have another example of where high ground is cover for me. Another guy that shows up with a peacekeeper at a range where the peacekeeper would certainly kill me. You see me ducking for reloads, but also ducking to try and bait out a shot right here. I duck early before the reload, and I know that he's going to miss me because of that, and I can get some free damage and get a knock. Right here I want to show you I use the enemy's bubble for cover first, and then I want to show you the value of high ground as well as doorways and how small these things can be to be valuable. Right here my heal gets interrupted and I have two opponents in front of me, so I quickly take even the tiniest high ground to make it difficult for them to push me, after which I can use the door to heal. I've created a distance and made it impossible for them to pincer me, so even a box like that can be very meaningful to give you a little bit of overview and a little bit of cover. And after using the door to heal, I actually use it to bait out a shot here, and I get a quick knock just like that. So just like the high ground, you can use doorways and corners to bait out shots from opponents whenever you're healing or reloading, and then you can deal free damage when they're not focusing you, so you don't have aim crunch. Right here we're fighting in market, I take out an opponent and I want to loot, so you see me strafing to the right while I'm looting, so the door behind me covers my back. My teammate isn't so lucky, he wasn't covered, so he goes down, and I decide to crouch to look through the glass in the door. Doorways are your best friend. I get a quick knock, and while my teammate gets rest, I use the second door to create some forward cover, so I can push the last guy and take him out quickly without taking any unnecessary damage here. And there you go. Alright, let's move on to a clip here and talk about how small cover can really be and how you should just use anything near you. I didn't mean to drop down here and I accidentally dropped on an enemy. I managed to take her out, but I have to reset for a heal here, and I end up getting jumped by a Pathfinder with a Peacekeeper. Pretty scary. Luckily, my teammates are there to help me out, so we end up killing this Pathfinder, but I've taken quite some damage. So rather than healing, I have broken his purple armor, and I decide to pick it up because armor swapping is the fastest way for me to get my armor back. We get attacked by another team, and I decide to use a medkit here, but a Pathfinder jumps over, and if I cancel my medkit now, I'm taking a lot of damage and I'm starting this fight with half my health. So instead, look at how small this tree is, and I'm just using it to block most of the shots. Took about 30 damage, but I healed about 60 health, so it's overall worth it. And I can bait them into false pushes, and here I just used the terrain for cover, first the box and now the floor by taking a little bit of natural high ground. And just like that, I can prevent a lot of damage being done to me and take out the enemy team. Next up, let's talk about enemy focus. I talked about it already a little bit when using doorways, but I want to show you a little bit how you can use enemy focus against them, understanding what they're looking at and where their crosshair placement is. Right here you can see a caustic inside the building, and I know he's not looking at me, so I just used the window. Cracks in the ceilings and walls, even floors of most buildings, are also very useful for this, as people generally aren't looking through them, so you can deal some free damage. But I want to take this a step further and show you that later into this fight I end up getting shot from the top of this house right here, and I end up behind some terrible cover having to heal. I want to take this fight, but I hear the enemies push up, and while my teammates start shooting them, I notice that they don't notice me. So I quietly use my crouch to move around the left side. I don't have to strafe, and I'm not getting aim punched, so I can just deal free damage and take them out right there. Next up, I want to talk about corner baiting. So once you combine the enemy focus, cover usage and proper crosshair placement, you can use enemies that are pushing you against them, because you know where they are going to show up. You can pre-aim it as long as you know that they are coming for you and you have some cover to work with. So here I'm creating some distance because I need to get a heal, and I know that this entire team is chasing me because they killed and thirsted most of my teammates. So I use the corner, wait for him, I pre-aim and I can't miss, and I can use it to counter push it. I'm isolating these enemies one by one, using this cover and baiting them into a bad push for them, using their over aggressiveness against them. If I just kept running away, I would have probably died, and here I end up using cover against the lifeline because I know the layout of the building, and it's quick cleanup from there.
Oh my god. Oh, not again.
I would recommend practicing these techniques until they become habits. So here you can see that we're squashed between two enemy teams, and I decide to use the cover behind me to break line of sight from the enemy team behind, so I can use the cover in front of me to get closer to that team, because I would like to be close up with my R99. And while taking out the first enemy here, I decide to drop down and use the doorway to heal. Healing with a battery takes about 5 seconds, and if they want to kick open the door, that takes 3 to 4 seconds, so you'll pretty much always be able to get a battery off, don't be afraid. When I go back up, I decide to use a slide to use cover once again, and you can see that crosshair placement makes it so that I don't even really have to aim at this lifeline when I push her. And I really want to point out the power of it here. You can see that I'm just moving around the corner where I expect her to be, and just like that, it's an easy kill. And I go for the armor swap because it's the quickest way to heal, and I know that this last enemy team is going to push me quickly exactly based on this fight. So I try to use my arc stars to isolate at least one, maybe two of the opponents, just like before, so that I can fight them one-on-one. And I see the Bangalore pushing in front of her team after this, so I place my crosshair where she's going to be, bait her over the corner, and a free kill, just like that. Then I still have the high ground here that I can use to crouch whenever I reload. Just like that, I don't even have to take a lot of damage, and it's clean up from there. He's broken armor. Next, I would like to recommend aim training. If you are the type of player that plays a lot, gets a lot of practice in, and is confident that they can make these techniques a habit in maybe a week or 2 weeks quite easily, then I would recommend before you play taking about 15 minutes of your time to play an aim trainer like Kovacs, and go for anything that trains your flicks, your reaction speed, and your target acquisition time. So something like Jumbo Towel Frenzy, as you can see on the screen right here, where you have to flick to targets as quickly and accurately as you can, is perfect for close quarters combat. However, if you're the type of player that doesn't want to spend a lot of time practicing and still enjoys a very aggressive playstyle, what I would recommend is not being afraid to hot drop on Skull Town Bunker or the supply ship, where you know you're going to get into close quarters fight. You don't have to spend a lot of time looting. Even if you die early, it just means you get more practice time in. Try to combine your crosshair placement with corners and corner baiting, and you'll quickly notice that you'll get into the habit of peeking a corner and trying to shoot at an opponent as quickly as possible, which is basically the same type of aim training as I was recommending before. In these clips you'll see I'm not a close range player at all, and I just changed my sensitivity, so I was really struggling with my aim these couple days, and using these techniques I still managed to stay alive, kill everybody on the supply ship and in Skull Town perfectly fine, and over time you'll see my aim improve and you'll see the practice pay off. With that said, I hope this was helpful. Enjoy the rest of the video. Peace. God.
Oh, they got a.
I can't see him because of the fucking.
One's got a purple armor.
One down. There's three here.
One's purple armor.
Lifeline's about to rest right here.
Oh, they're resing? Yeah.
Yep.
Item point load, dude. Oh no, you ate my peacekeeper shot. No.
Fuck! I have to reload. 1 second, I know where he is.
Yeah. That's where we went. Yeah. I'm watching the other side.
Okay.
I think he's fine.
Got him. Broken armor on the gray.
Oh, he's jumping the floor.
My ulti. One of them is low. Both are low over there. Oh, you're fighting my ulti. It's fine, I'll go after these guys myself.
I took the kill with one.
Nice. This team is really low. Two of them are here. One's on the oh, he's so low, dude. One down.
He's dead in there.
Sounds good. Wrecker.
Oh, don't see me, don't see me. Maybe they are. Oh, that's a down back.
Broken armor, one shot. Got him.
Oh no, that hit me. What the fuck? That was in the building.
One here.
Yeah.
Trying to res.
He's low ass, dude. Oh,
Nice.
the no scope. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, brother. Yeah,
Hell yeah, brother.